What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boyz, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devan. Melo's behind there somewhere, and that is Tony, Curse Designs. Melo, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I have better days, Can't complain. I wish I could see my face, but it is what it is at this point. The show must continue.
Yeah. A little bit of internet problems, but hey, dude, we do what we can around here. We do what we can. Tony, a.k.a. Curse Designs, what's up, my dude?
Chilling. What's up, bud?
Not much, dude. I don't know if you can tell people in the chat, but Tony has upgraded his YouTube game. He's got that light on. He's got a mic, the headphones. Like, we're real-timing over here for sure. You know what I'm saying? Yo, shout out everybody in the chat. We see you in there. Tyler, Donald. Yo, we can see you, Donald. That's good freaking news, dude. Couldn't see Donald last time. Karis, Tyler, Ryan Day Spear, Dennis. What up, Dennis? Daryl, Ayla. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Sean, Mika, Ron. All y'all, man. How y'all doing? Nice to see you. All righty, fellas. Well, here we go, man. Nothing too exciting this week, but, we got the old Northwestern game popping off at Wrigley Field coming up. We had the interviews with Coach Day, Kelly, and Howard today. And then got a little bit of recruiting news, so I'm going to dive into that. Hey, Tony, I think we're getting a little bit of feedback on your mic, so just mute your mic until, it's your turn to talk. I'll call on everybody tonight before before we talk, but yeah. So we're going to start off with a little bit of recruiting tonight. We did not talk about this as a group before the show, so this is all on the fly. We're about to get everybody's opinion on the fly. So, Melo, we'll start with you. Little bit of news on Naeem Alford, right? We feel that he is not going to be in the class, but Wilfong, if you like Wilfong's opinion at all, he thinks we're going to hold on to him. But as of, I believe, yesterday, the day before, he stated that he's still expected to be at the game. We will see if that happens. But so not only is Auburn and Oregon after him, but he's now going on a Florida official visit as well this weekend. So you got some news there, but on a better note, he did retweet a video with Devan Sanchez on X. Somebody made a video about how nasty they're going to be next year when they play together. He did retweet that, so that's some good news. But Melo, how you feeling about what I just said about Naeem Alford?
I think, truthfully, after that retweet about having dreads and coming to Ohio State, I think he's going to stick. I think he's doing what Optimus Prime did last year and getting to the bag. They get paid for these official visits, and the kids should take them, like, honestly. And I think he's going to end up in the class. I didn't for a while, but the telltale sign will be if he shows up for the game. If he shows up for the game, he's definitely in the class. If he doesn't, I think he flips.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Deetra in the chat. Hey, Deetra, nice to see you in here. Hey, Tony, what's your thoughts on the Alford news I just gave?
Good. Does my mic sound better now?
It does. Yep,
okay.
Way better.
Okay, cool. No, I think it's awesome. Like, I honestly if I thought he was always going to be in the class, but like I was holding out hope because it'd be really awesome to see, Devan Sanchez and him together. Like, I think that's going to be amazing and, whatnot. So, like, I really think, I mean, to be fair, like, if you look at the schools, like, there's nobody really up to our level competing per se. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he really wants to come and be a part of that. Like, especially, I think if we turn the season around, like I think we're going to, like, I think he'll definitely be in.
Yeah, it is interesting. You know, Melo brought up a good point. Look at Dietrich in the chat. She said, let us take him. We need a bag. I mean, that's a good point. Hey, here's the other thing, right? These kids, they only get this experience once in their life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can sit back and guess all this stuff and all that. And let me make something clear. If Naeem Alford doesn't come to Ohio State, it's not like we dislike the kid. We dislike the idea of him maybe not coming here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't like that, but it's not like we think he's a bad kid. You know what I mean? We just got to trust that, you know, he's around a support system. I've heard his dad talk before, so I know his dad's a good dude and supports whatever decision he makes. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, after watching like him and Devan interact on X there a little bit, Ohio State fans are so crazy, but I freaking love it, dude, because we'll diagnose every little tiny thing that we see. You know what I'm saying? But like, we all over it, bro. Nothing gets past us at all. So, but that's pretty cool. A couple other things. Rogers, Turbo, Alabama. So, you know, over there on Bucknuts, who was it? Somebody asked him for an update, and he said he's not even sure, or we're not sure if he's even going to make it to his Alabama or Georgia official visit. So the bar keeps going up for us here at Ohio State. Like I said, that relationship he has with Coach Locke going all the way back to the 8th grade, I think that's huge in this. And I think Chip Kelly being there, being able to tell him and show him, hey, man, look what we can do with you. And then seeing Trey Henderson go out on a route like that and make catches like that, running the way he is, I think he lines up with the Trey Henderson type of back that can go out there in the slot as well and be a receiver. So I'm liking where we stand with him. Melo, your thoughts?
I think we're getting him. I think we're flipping him. I would say I don't have any insider information, but from reading tea leaves and listening to Bill Kurlick and all the other guys, I would say probably 90% chance. And also, don't forget that nugget that Nevada and Kirk dropped back in the beginning of September. Do you guys remember that? Does anybody remember that? Or should I let you in on the secret?
You're going to have to. I think I remember, but you're going to have to remind us.
So Nate Frazier, supposedly his people, the freshman running back, not one running back in last year's class at Georgia, reached out to Ohio State. He likes how they're using the two-back system. Supposedly he's like an LA kid, and Athens is nothing like LA, trust me. He wasn't adjusting too well. You see culturally what's going on down there. It's playing out in the field now. And then supposedly he wasn't getting along with Coach Kirby. So how I look at it is you have a three-headed monster in Sam Williams-Dixon, James People, Nate Frazier. This is a possibility. Anything could change, right? Nate Frazier, and then they bring in Turbo, who could spell some of them in the backfield, but he'll be used in the slot role specifically, and his name is fitting in terms of Turbo.
Yeah. Hey, real fast, you see Ryan Dade's beard to super chats up, Melo. Hey, just a little update for everybody in the chat. Y'all are the ones helping grow this channel. We appreciate you. Like I said, we will keep our word that this is a fan channel. Whatever income we get at this channel, we'll pay our expenses, and the rest will get put back into this channel to get tickets to games, to give away, the whole 9 yards. So on that note, real fast, we are only, I think, like 70 some subscribers away from 1,000, which will allow us to do different things on YouTube as well. And we're about 300 view hours away. So YouTube keeps track of view hours. So you guys on here watching us right now accounts for that. So that helps out a lot. But yeah, so hopefully next week we can start taking super chats. So that's a pretty exciting thing for us here. And it's all because of y'all. So we appreciate your guys' support for sure. Shout out Ohio Pod in there too. What up, Eric? Talked to him earlier. Yeah, if you're not aware of Ohio Podcast, I'm sure you are. If you're watching us, you know about them. Amazing podcast over there. Go check them out, dude. They do all kind of interesting, cool things. They got a Northwestern preview coming up. So they did it with like the #1 Northwestern YouTube channel out there, like bigger than the 247 Northwestern thing. So like if you want some inside information about the Northwestern team, go watch that preview. I'm not sure if it's released yet or not, but I believe it's tomorrow that it's getting released. So they'll tell you all about it more, but for sure. Tony, thoughts on Rogers real quick, Turbo?
No, I think we're trending in the right way. And I mean, you can never tell. And it's hard to say like, oh, we're definitely going to get him without like some sort of nugget. But like, I really think we will, and I hope we do. I think it'll be a great addition to what seems like to be in the next couple of years building back towards like a team like this type thing. You know what I'm saying? If everybody pans out.
Yeah, for sure. So on the offensive line recruiting, probably what everybody wants to hear about, we got two names that keep popping up. Well, one's kind of fading away, and another one is a newcomer that's kind of come in and is all the rage right now for the 25 class. Micah DeBose. People were kind of hoping we would flip him, but as more time goes on, there was an Alabama insider that Bucknuts got a hold of, and they said that, dude, he's 95% locked in with Alabama. So if he does flip by some miracle, it will be at the very last second. Now on to the new one that, we're excited about. I'm excited about Damola Ajidahan. I believe that's his name. I apologize if I mispronounced that.
You killed that.
That was good.
That
was good.
Yes, bro. You know what I've found when it comes to names, if I practice them, I will screw it up. If I don't practice it, I won't screw it up. I just got to go with the flow of it and just say it.
There you go.
But anyway, So as of last week, Georgia has actually backed off of him. So it was an Ohio State, Georgia, and obviously Georgia Tech race. Now it's forming into Ohio State, Georgia Tech, South Carolina. He was at the South Carolina game against Texas A&M when they beat Texas A&M. So that was a good game from the be at, and he stated that it's a three-way lock right now. Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Ohio State, three-way lock right now. Interestingly, one of his high school coaches is from Ohio, and that coach is the one that brought him here for his visit. So there's that connection there. So we're waiting to see if he's going to come back down for the game. But for me, it's kind of been the same along the same lines as Neem Alford. I think if he comes to the game, right, I think our chances of grabbing him go up substantially. Melo, thoughts?
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I don't know if I shared this. I have shared it, but I don't know if we shared it on the live or I just told you behind the stage. But I ran into him back in May. They had the state championship at his high school for soccer, the girls' soccer. And I didn't really know who he was. I just saw a big kid. Like, he was huge. And I was like, dude, we need you on the O-line at Ohio State. What's up? He was like, man, I'm still waiting on that offer. I'm like, oh, it's coming. But when it comes, you need to commit. Columbus is the fastest growing city. You're going to get paid, brother. And he's like, man, I'm waiting on it. So, like, everything's lining up. And then I follow him on IG. And his whole Facebook, his IG page is him in his Ohio State picture that he took.
Oh,
so I like this one. We'll see. And especially with UGA coming backing off, I mean, that's free run, especially when you're up for the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah, which we'll get to here in a little bit for sure. But what up, Black Pyro? See you in there. Saw you over on Scoop. Thanks for hopping over here. Ryan Days Beard, as soon as Tony gets done with his talk real fast here, we'll get into that question.
I mean, I think, like you said, people coming to the game, like recruits coming to the game this year, like, because, like, given that we're only playing noon games for the rest of the year, and like the atmosphere has kind of been lackluster at the shoe this year, that one probably won't be. It'll be one of the better atmospheres of the year, even if Scum sucks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it'll be one of the better atmospheres. So I think for them to show up and see what it's like to have us win, and, you know, with all the stuff going on with Georgia's offense and all that stuff and everything, like, and them backing off, like, I think it's we're doing well.
Yeah. And real fast, little timeout, little sideshow here for you. I got to give a shout out again to Tony Curse Designs. I'm about to show y'all something. This is the stuff this dude can design. Like, you can get this on a shirt, but I highly doubt you want me, Melo, and Tony's face on a shirt you're wearing around. You might. We would love it if you want to support that. But check this out, dude. Check what this dude can do. Oh, hold on. Let me get rid of that comment real fast. Go back to, look at that, man. I think that's fire, dude. So
it is. I love it, man.
Yeah, if you want, Tony,
to get one of those shirts, man. I'll wear them around too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you guys get a hold of Tony, even if it's not something Buckeye Boyz related. He runs a business where he does designs and stuff. So if you got something custom you want made, hit him up, man. He's a beast at it. But okay, let's hit this portal question that Ryan Days Beard asked us. I'm going to start off by saying that I don't care who you are. I think if you have an idea what they're going to do in the portal right now, it's just that. It's just an idea because, quite frankly, I don't think we have any idea, because as what we saw last year, look how many players stayed, right? And then look at some of the players that left that we didn't think would leave. So we have no idea what's going to happen. And the thing is I don't think the coaches do either. Like, they have a way better idea than we do. But I would imagine that if you had to ask me, we're definitely going to try to get any offensive tackles in the portal that we can. If there are any that even pop up this year, I doubt there is, actually. If they do pop up, they probably already got a home. So there needs to be some tampering going on here in the portal if we're going to get a tackle, if you want my opinion. I can definitely see us going out and getting a running back too with a little more experience. That might be a surprise to some people, but that's just kind of how I feel, because next year, I mean, unless who's the guy that tore his ACL? Why do I forget his name? He's the walk-on for Ohio State.
Oh man,
he'll be like a sixth-year senior next year. But James Peoples will be our starting running back next year. Which
TC
leaves
Caffey.
TC Caffey.
Yep.
Yeah, which leaves limited experience in the running back room. So, straight off the top of my head, I can't really think of any more. Maybe defensive tackle or two with the way they do rotations this year. I'm a little bit confused there. Or defensive end, since Edric Houston went inside the defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what we got going on there, but we'll see what happens. Melo, your thoughts on the transfer portal this year?
Man, you said everything. The only other thing, they might reach out for maybe a safety. But everything else you covered. You know what I mean? So I don't really have anything to add.
Tony, you got anything to add?
I mean, if the tight ends keep stuck in it, kind of like, Jelani Thurman doesn't come up, and what I'm saying, like, the other ones don't necessarily. We never know what's going to happen with the tight end room. So, like, I mean, I would like to see him get maybe a tight end that's better than Will Kazmarek than their pickup. So,
Yeah, gotcha.
That's about it. But everything else you said seems right on.
Final note for recruiting real fast. We got one big target left in the chamber, Jakeem Stewart. Things are still looking good, man. Early in his recruitment, a lot of people were wondering, will he leave the state? Will he leave the state? I think we've seen now with his actions and everything that he says that he will not have a problem leaving the state at all. So if you're wondering whether that's going to come into play, I'm not quite so sure how much that is going to come into play. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. On a side note, this is going to be crazy, but Julian Lewis just got crystal ball to flip to Colorado. So that blew my mind. That's just crazy. Colorado, dude, they might make it to the playoffs this year. Melo, what's your thoughts on Jakeem and the old Colorado?
Man, I love that you brought this up. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest with you. So Jakeem, I'm not sure if we get him. I would say 50-50. I know he loves LJ, but let's see what happens with him. But you remember when we interviewed the Sanchez's, they were talking about Mr. Sanchez brought up Malik Autry and talking about they're working on flipping him. So that would be a huge get. I mean, a huge get. So I hope that happens. And Colorado, this is exactly what I wanted you to bring. I'm glad you brought it up, because I was just watching Devan today, and he did it was like a little presser. People could be mad at Devan, but what he said made sense. He said, the reason I don't chase high school kids is because if I get 20 high school kids, half of them are going to get redshirted. And he said only like 4 or 5 of them are going to play. And he was like, out of all those, half of those are going to transfer. And he was like, so I'm losing half of those because they don't want to sit. So I'd rather hit the portal and get experience that's already played, and then get 5 freshmen that I expect to play. Because if I get you out of high school, I expect you to play day one. So he's like, that's my philosophy. He was like, people always going after number 1 class this and number 1 class that. But then a few months later, you forget. And those kids you're taking a gamble on, they might not pan out to be anything, and they might leave after your first year. I don't have time to develop them. He's like, who won the draft this year? He's like, oh, see, none of y'all could guess or say who won the draft or who they said won the draft, because it's irrelevant at this point. It's all about winning. Yeah. And I mean, he made a valid point. It's just, it's more than one skin and cat. I like going through the high school ranks, bringing them up, developing them. It's just more of a sense of pride. But you can also win Deion's way is just like, you're going to have to hit on those portal guys, and they need to fit your culture. So it's 50-50. I like the way we do it personally.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I mean, let's be honest, this recruiting and this portal thing, this is new for everybody, even the coaches. So to sit here and say that one coach's way is better than another coach's way, nobody really knows that answer yet because we haven't seen the full impact. We haven't seen the cause and effect per se of recruiting styles. I would lean more towards the high school 1-2, but there's give and take for both of them. Deion's way, you can make a case is the best, and Ohio State's way, you can make a case is the best as well. So it's kind of new, and I don't see too many people doing it Deion's way. There are a few other teams out there doing it, but you never know. We'll find out. But I got to be honest with you, whatever Colorado did in the offseason, it worked for them. They ain't nothing to play with. They got Jordan Seaton. They're making him to be like the number one freshman for on-3 industry anyway. Jeremiah Smith is mine, but Jordan Seaton's playing pretty darn good for a true freshman. So Colorado's got something going on right now. Tony, your thoughts?
I mean, as far as like you said with Deion, like, okay, sometimes he does not make a whole lot of valid points, and like I'm not a super fan of his. But it is. I think the difference is like this is like the way Ohio State does is a tried and true method. It's been done for years. And there was like not really that many other options or any other options, and now there is, but like not a lot of people are taking the initiative to try to do it, and Deion's tried to do it, and he failed obviously first, kind of, you know what I'm saying, and he's kind of got it together, but like it's still a hit or miss type of thing. It's just a lack of empirical evidence to go on, so you have to really take a shot. FSU did it, you know what I'm saying, and like literally, fell off the face of the earth. So like it can go really bad, it can go decently good. I mean, honestly, I wish no ill will on Colorado. I just like hope they kind of do make it to the playoffs, and Joel Klatt rejoices, and then they get smoked, and Joel Klatt cries. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick about Julian Lewis?
Yeah.
So the thing about Julian Lewis, I wish he didn't pick USC in reclass, because I guarantee you he would have been a Buckeye in the 26 class. His whole thing coming out of high school was he wanted to play for Lincoln Riley or Ryan Day. Now he's going on a visit to UGA because obviously UGA is desperate. They know they have a quarterback issue, and they also have weapons issues, So like that's the only thing that kind of sucks, because we could have went right after Tavian straight to Julian. It would have been awesome. But I mean, I'm taking Tavian over Julian all day, to be honest with you.
Dude, speaking of Georgia, did you hear what Kirby Smart said in his press conference about, a reporter asked him whether they had a more athletic quarterback that can maybe come in, and pretty much they were saying, hey, are you ever going to bench dude because he has the most interceptions in all of Power 5 football? Like, I know it's 12, and I know that, our old quarterback has 12 too, but, Kyle McCord has thrown 105 more passes than Georgia quarterback. What's his name again, dude? I got too many names. Carson Beck. Too many names in my head. But Kirby literally shut that down fast and said, no, Beck is our quarterback. It's who we're going to play with. That was surprising to me. Quick thoughts, Melo, Tony.
Go ahead, Melo.
Go ahead, Tony. I'll let you go first.
All right. I mean, I thought it was interesting. Kirby does things a weird way. Like Carson Beck does need to get benched. He's garbage, but like also it kind of makes it seem like maybe Kirby doesn't think it's a Carson Beck problem. Maybe it's his stupid offensive coordinator problem. Like, was it Mike Bobo?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, yeah, Mike Bobo. Yeah, garbage. So like, it's probably a both of them problem, but and leading up more to Kirby too. So like, what can you do?
So for me, it's funny. His last name is Bobo. Bobo the Fool. Number one. Number two. This is the most interceptions by a Georgia quarterback in this amount of games since guess who did it first? Mike Bobo.
Maybe it is a Bobo problem.
This is the thing, man. You got to remember, this is a business. We all know this. Like, college football is not amateur sport anymore, which also takes kind of the joy away from it a little bit for me. But, like, they paid Carson Beck reportedly $5 million to come back and gave him a Lambeau deal. You can't bench that because think about the people that invested that money. What are they going to say? When you go out and ask them for money again, they're probably going to be more inept to say no, more inclined to say no. Also, if you look at it, yes, Carson Beck is playing horrible, but his O-line is playing trash. They're banged up. They're not good. And Georgia and Kirby Smart has always felt like all we need is the trenches. We don't need to get wide receivers. We don't need all these surplus of talent and athletes around Carson Beck. And I mean, I watched 3 balls hit their wide receivers in the chest, literally. Can't catch it. They have brick hands. Like, I could catch better than them. And so, like, it can't all be on Carson Beck. And he's probably like, look, I'm not going to throw these other guys out there when I don't think they're going to be able to make a difference either. We don't have the weaponry. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild over there. Hola, señorita. Tú eres lo que yo necesito, mi amor. I had to do that real fast.
No speaker.
Yeah, that's about all I know. She taught me that. That's it, though. I know a few more, but I'm not going to say them on air. That'd be crazy. Anyway. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Tora's in the house.
Tora.
What up, my brother Tora? That's my dude right there. That is an awesome, awesome dude. Awesome friend, man. All right, here we go. Moving on to the press conferences from Day, Chip, and Will Howard. I'm going to run down through a few points that Ryan Day made and Will Howard made. Didn't really get too many things off of Chip Kelly, but if either of you two watch it, got to add something in, feel free to do so. But for Day, first thing I'm going to bring up is he mentioned that he thinks Carson Hinsman's healthy, right? That was a question all of us wanted to know after that little injury. We kind of knew like that's what it was, but he's healthy, ready to go. Another interesting thing I heard was that Maurice Clarett, big part of the team now, man. Ryan Day said that he was an asset to this team right now. Like he brings a fire to the team. So I found that to be an interesting little note that he talked about as well. And he got asked about the turf, right? And I wanted to ask, does anybody know do we have the same turf on our practice fields that we do on our game field? Does anybody? Yes. We do. Okay, so tinfoil hat going on. We got something going on. We got a problem because Ryan Day said when he was asked that question, the first thing that he says is he wants to make sure the practice fields are like the game fields. Like they brought the company in to test them out and to see and all that stuff. And what that tells me is that the practice fields are not, right? Like they're not over there slipping on the practice fields, right? Like they are on this field. So that was something interesting to me because I always wondered that. I'm like, dang, man, do they not slip like this in practice enough to know to change their cleats? So clearly it's just the problem in there in the shoe and something's going on at that field, whether because all those concerts we have in there, we put down plywood over it. I don't know what goes on in there, but clearly something's off with it. And I found that interesting that he brought up the practice fields first thing, kind of letting people know like, hey, dude, I'm not an idiot. Like if we were slipping like this in the practice field, we'd do something about it. But does kind of blow my mind that nothing's being done about it. Like it's a little bit ridiculous at this point in time. It's very, very obvious. If you ask me, we can do something about it in season. I don't know if I'm crazy to think that they could change that entire field out, in a 2-week span. We're going to Wrigley Field, start now, get the thing changed out. That might be crazy. I know there's a contract with them and whatnot, but exactly. I still feel like there's a way around it. Pay the contract off and get a new. This is Ohio State, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Have the money.
Yeah.
We have
get her
the money.
fixed. Yeah.
They're cheap, bro. You know this. Is Ohio State. They might be the cheapest, most rich school in America. It's insane. And this is the same turf that the NFLPA is trying to get banned for life from football stadiums. And the only stadium I believe that still has it is the Giants, and there's another stadium. And everyone says the Giants have the worst stadium that they ever played on. So, I mean, people getting hurt left and right. You remember we used to have, like, every year we kept having soft tissue injuries every single year, and it was derailing our – it was probably the turf. I don't know what changed that. Thank God we're having great health this season overall, minus the Josh Simmons thing. But, like, that's all I pray every day before the game is that none of our players get seriously injured or hurt, because that's the only thing I feel like can derail us from – well, I keep saying us because I feel like I'm a part of the team because I root for them so hard, but derail this team from all their goals,
Yeah, it's wild. Tony, your thoughts?
No, I agree. Like, I mean, I believe we do have a grass practice field too, but that's neither here nor there. But like, yeah, like we've had so many issues with it. Like whether it was Devan Brown's like cleat getting caught last year, and ankle getting twisted, all that stuff. Like, it just seems like there's always these problems. And like, Gene Smith was notoriously cheap and, whatever and all that stuff. I think Ross Bjork should do something about it. He wants to be proactive. Like, I think something has to be done. We've had 2 bye weeks this year. It's been a problem since the beginning of the year. Could have handled it. We haven't. Like, and I hope they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. A few other things. Day said they asked him about the backup quarterback position, right? And the next words out of his mouth were that they want to get both those guys some reps. Okay. The first words out of his mouth were not Devan Brown's the backup quarterback, right? I believe he's the backup quarterback. I don't think that's changing this year. That's just my opinion. No inside information there. I just don't think it is. But, Devan, he did say later on, Devan's the backup, but saying is pushing for that. So I found that interesting for him to bring it up and talk about it like that. Another interesting note, supposedly that pass that Trey caught, Trey's been working on that route for years since he's been in the program. And they finally got him the right situation to let him run that route. And he caught it, did his thing. So I wanted to shout Trey out real fast for, dude, hard work pays off, man. Working on a one route for years, you get a TD on it, man. You can't ask for much more than that. So you guys got anything on those 2 things before I move on, or anything else that Day said that interests you? I'm going to talk about what Day said about Will Howard, and I'm going to tie that into a couple things Will Howard said as well. So anything else on Day or what I just said?
Yeah, in terms of Trey, I want to touch on that. That was a filthy route. Did you guys see that route? Everybody in the chat, if you haven't, you need to go watch that route. Like, I'm a route master. That's why I love Deshaun Stewart, because I feel like he runs the crispest routes in the country. He may be very lowly rated, but his routes are filthy. And that Trey route was so dirty. I think he's going to go up draft stocks. His draft stock is going to go up even more, because you can't teach a running back to run a route like that. He looked like a wide receiver. So that's first thing first with that. In terms of everything else,
Melo, we're losing you a little bit, bud. Can't hear you. Just what? Yeah, Melo, wait a second. You're cutting off real fast. For some reason, hopefully it picks back up. I think you're good now. Try it again.
Yeah, you look clear. So in terms of what he said about the backup quarterback and Julian, I think it's coach speak. He has to keep both players engaged. He wants to reward Devan for staying and not hitting the portal and being a dog, but he wants to keep Julian from hitting the portal during the offseason. So he's got to throw him a bone, and he probably really wants Julian to be the backup, to be honest with you. But he has to keep both engaged and both on board. Just look at how he handled Kyle McCord's situation last year. He flat out came out and said Devan Brown was the leader. I thought he was going to win the job. So now we know where Zach Smith got that information from. I mean, he was told directly that Devan Brown is going to be the starting quarterback and he's going to win Heisman. So, I mean, everything's adding up. He's playing the long game. I got to keep them both engaged. I want them both here next year to start off and air and just let's battle it out. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say too much more.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Tony, your thoughts?
I mean, I get the reason he would say that. I mean, I hope he wants Julian saying in there. I would say let's end the Devan Brown experiment now. Like, I think we've seen enough. Like, Julian, I think, is good. I think Air is going to be, better than Devan ever would be. We had Tavian coming in. Like, I think this is like, I get you want to like try to hold on to Devan being here and stuff or whatever, but like, do you really need to? Like, in hindsight, like,
yeah. Hey, Emily, we feel you.
But other recruits in high school that you're going after see how you treat the quarterback room, and that could sway them from wanting to pick you. You know what I mean?
But he's been overly fair with Devan Brown. Like, overly.
I agree. Fair. I mean, I don't want to see Devan personally anymore, and I don't mean to hurt any feelings, but I'm ready to see the young kids. It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Emily, we feel you. We're big fans of Air on Buckeye Boyz here.
Absolutely.
Don't sleep on that dude, man. I just, it blows my mind. Like, I get it, but then in the same sense, I don't, that everybody just keeps putting Julian in that slot. Like, a lot of football left to play. And obviously we do it because of what the coaches say. They never bring up Air in the conversation about backup and whatnot. But, dude, careful, man, because Air is an absolute baller. So, hey, that's for y'all. Hey, Emily, I didn't throw any shade at Devan Brown. That was Melo and Curse. Just want to make that clear.
I'll throw all the shade. I'm
just
saying, I don't want Devan Brown.
Wasn't that bad a shade. Yeah, is what it is. No big deal. All right, moving on to our current quarterback. I want to start off by letting everybody know that I'll tell you exactly what games too. That in the Marshall game, Will Howard threw for 80%, 16 for 20. In the Iowa game, he threw 21 for 25, 84%. In the Oregon game, the dude threw 28 for 35, 80% in the Oregon game. Nebraska, 13 for 16, 82%. Purdue, 21 for 26, 81%. First time in Ohio State history that a quarterback has thrown 80% completion rate in 5 games in a season. So, Will Howard's big time, bro. Will Howard for Heisman. Yeah, for sure. But the question that we all want to know, and the biggest concern we have, this deep ball, Ryan Day got asked today about the deep ball. And Ryan Day first brought up his footwork and that he's late with his feet a lot. Later on, Will Howard was asked about something like the deep ball and something like that. And what he said was that Chip told him to focus on completions, that completions, they make the defense tired. Will Howard went into this big spiel about how, at Kansas State, he was forcing it a little bit, trying to throw it downfield. He realizes he might miss some receivers sometimes, like JJ being open, but he did complete his check down to Henderson, got 6 yards, made the defensive tackles run across the field. So any completion made is good for the offense, bad for the defense. And that kind of answers my question. And I was getting a little nervous because there was a lot of open wide receivers. I really wasn't concerned with the way he throws his deep ball. I was more concerned with the receivers that he didn't even throw to. And I think this answered my question. Like, this was a thing that was thought of preseason, and now it's stuck in Will Howard's head, this completion thing. And I don't mind it now that he explained it. I would like him to get his eyes up a little more and see some of these open receivers, but he is so hyper-focused on just getting completions right now that he's only going to throw it most of the time if he knows he's going to get a completion. So to hear that, I think he answered a lot of our questions. And if you were like me and concerned with going back and watching the film and seeing all these open receivers, when you do see those open receivers, most of the time he just hits his check down. Like, he does that a lot. He'll hit the open guy for the shorter pass because there's a higher percentage of completion there. That's what's going through Will Howard's head when we're sitting here screaming at the TV screen because J.J. Smith was wide open and he checked it down, right? Now, the ones that are aggravating is when he gets sacked instead of throwing it or doesn't get a completion. But I just found that really interesting. I thought that was the biggest nugget to take out of the press conference, was that little interaction there with Day being asked. It was his footwork. And Howard also said that this week, that's the main focus he has, is his footwork. So we're going to see, right, how he performs in this Northwestern game and see if he keeps his feet alive. That's what he kept saying. He said on some of those passes that he underthrows, his feet are dead. He's throwing it flat-footed. And I found that interesting, helped me gain a lot of knowledge. So, but overall, the little nugget that Chip Kelly drilled completions into his head before the season. Therefore, Will is always going to take the easier completion over the downfield pass. So that was an interesting thing that I caught out of that. Melo, I know you probably got a lot to say about this, so let her rip, Tater Chip.
Man, honestly, I think any athlete, if you stop your feet, you're dead in the water. It doesn't matter what sport, soccer, basketball, football, hockey, anything, like, except for maybe golf. But you gotta keep your feet moving, and it makes complete sense. So to me, is really, because we've had this conversation about his deep ball. Is it his timing or is it his arm strength? Like, what is it? So to me, it sounds like it's his timing, because his feet aren't matching up with the routes that the wide receivers are running, and it's causing him to not be on time. So that's what it seems like. It seems like it's very fixable. which is something that I'm happy about and is positive. And he's completed 80% of his passes in the past 3 games, which means once he gets that down to where he's not thinking about it, oh my goodness. If that's really the reason and the issue, who's stopping this offense?
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good, like Melo said, like to think that like it might be a fixable issue and stuff or whatever. Like, I think one of the things I wish he learned too is like that, like if JJ looks like he's covered, like he's not actually, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not actually covered. Like, and if he had the nerve to throw it to JJ most of the time, JJ'd get it, you know. And I think like he have more faith in him than that. Like, you know, but if he could fix the deep ball program, like I think he would even hit him more just because JJ would always be open then. JJ's almost always open. And I think I think if they can fix that little stuff, yeah, like Melo said, like I don't think anybody's stopping us. Like, you know, not many people I think are stopping us now. They start fixing little problems like that, I think it only goes up.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Anything else about the press conferences that either of you two heard that you want to address? Melo?
I'm trying to think because I watched Chip. Chip said some interesting stuff, but I'm trying to run back in my memory. Go ahead and go to Tony, and if I think of something, I'll hop in real quick. I'm trying to remember what he said.
Well, I'll move on. If you guys think of something, we'll get back to it. But I just want to move on to a few little housekeeping things per se, just to keep everybody informed. The Ohio State offensive line is up for the Joe Moore Award. They're a semifinalist. I think it's down to 10 teams right now, and we are in there. And judging by everything that's happened to this offensive line this year, just to be a semifinalist, in my opinion, is absolutely insane. And I want to thank some people for that. First, I want to thank the players for busting their butt for it. And then I want to thank Chip Kelly. Done an absolutely phenomenal job. His play calling for the offensive line is phenomenal. I think that's all the people that I have to thank right now.
Hold on. We're not going to just breeze over that and pass this. No, we did not discuss this before we came on. But you're not giving your boy, your man, Justin Frost some love? Like, he's the old line coach, brother. Like, do we have credit on this?
You should have seen me tearing up the message boards today, dude. I was lighting everybody up because right when I saw it, I posted all the message boards I'm subscribed to, and I said, offensive line up for the Joe Moore Award. Thank you, Chip Kelly. That's all I put. But no, it's just a joke. Emily's upset with me now. Emily, listen, got to give credit to Fry. A little bit of credit there for sure. He's doing something right now. The recruiting absolutely has to change. Listen, I'm not going to speak on that right now. We'll save that for another video. Taco, Fire, Fry. You know, it's my opinion on how I feel, but Fry does get some credit for how he's done with the offensive line. He's made some mistakes, but he's fixed them. At least they're playing Carson Hinsman now, right? He could have stayed like that and not played him. He did. He played him because of Chip Kelly. Because Chip Kelly stepped in and said, yo, got to play Carson Hinsman. They were trying to play other people, but it was Chip Kelly. But, yeah, for sure. I think it's players, Chip Kelly, and then Justin Fry is obviously in there doing something good as well. Your guys' thoughts on that?
Devin, you just cracked me up, bro. I feel the exact same way, but like
trying to keep everybody happy, dude.
It's just hilarious. Go ahead. I agree with what Devin's saying. Like Chip Kelly and the players working their tails off is the biggest factor, but we do have to give some kind of love to him because he's an online coach. I don't want to give too much love to him because I don't want Day rethinking about whether he should go look for another O-line coach. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna leave it at, and let's move on. Let Tony give his thoughts. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, praise be Chip Kelly. I mean, he's an offensive guru that does done stuff with offensive lines, and Justin Fry's the guy that was at the sit-go last week. So it's fine, whatever. It's fine. Nobody even likes Justin Fry. So we're moving on. Moving on. Some more awards
for the team. Howard is up for an award, so praise the Lord. The Davey O'Brien, he's a semifinalist for that award. That goes to an outstanding quarterback in college football. The last and only Ohio State quarterback to win that, 2006. Guess who? Somebody guess. 2006. Troy Smith was the last one and the only one, to my knowledge, to win that award.
ever with us.
Yep. I believe so. So that's a good one. And then Caleb Downs is up for the Bednarik Award.
The Bednarik. Yeah, the Chuck Bednarik Award.
Yeah, that is for the best defensive player in all of college football. So I'm going to repeat that. That's not for a DB or anything. That's just for the best defensive player in college football. So, Melo, you said he was up for another one, correct?
Yeah, he's up for the Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, the Thorpe Award. Yep.
The Jim Thorpe Award as well. So I love to see
I think he should win. Personally, I am 100% biased. I'm not even going to hide it, but I also feel like I'm 100% correct. I believe he should win both awards. I think he's the best defensive player, and I believe he's the best DB in college.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. I love seeing these players get recognized. I know that what's his name? Jim, who's our SID, our SID? Who's that sports information director? Is that right? I don't know. But whoever it is. I find it funny that all these podcasts like went in on him, and literally today they put out all these graphics for all these semifinals and stuff. So yeah, it was interesting. I love to see it. So one more thing real fast, non-Buckeye football. Then we're going to dive into the Northwestern game and kind of what we saw in the Purdue game.
Jerry Emick. Yep.
Jerry Emick. Okay. Jerry. Gotcha. Jerry.
Shout out Eric.
Old Jerry. Okay. The Ohio Pod back to save the day again. You know how many times he did this for us when we were over there on the Ohio Pod? Me and Melo would be sitting on here trying to think of a name. He'd pop up in the chat and give it to us. Shout out to you once again. Joe Klatt on X. Did you guys see his little back and forth with everybody trying to justify all these noon games for Ohio State, stating that, you know,
good for college football.
Yeah, it's good for college football and all that. He should have just been quiet. It was a typical company man response to that. But you guys have any thoughts on that if you're aware of that?
Tony, I'll let you go first. I'm going to go second because I'm an ether Joe Klatt in second.
Oh, yeah, no, listen. I'm not a Joe Klatt fan at all. And, like, he is he's more delusional than me on most days. It's insane. Like, literally, like, he looks and believes some things and certain things. And, like, he's, wants to pretend not to be a homer, super homer. Like, I don't know if he's just a company man and he's trying to sell that, like, this is great and it's tradition and like it's been around for 5 years and it's been horrible the whole time. And people like Ohio State get stuck in it because now we have to play 6 noon games like for the rest of the year, which makes us look like idiots. Like it's bad for everything. It's annoying and like it's no fun. And to any way, shape, or form try to justify it, whatever is asinine. It's crazy, and it makes me dislike Joe Klatt even more because he keeps leaning into nonsensical things like that.
All right, light him up, Melo.
I guess it's my turn, huh? So this is the thing, Joe Klatt. It's not that it's a noon game, which does kind of blow. It kind of stinks a little bit because we can't get high school kids here as readily as we want. The problem is that you and Gus Johnson are atrocious. You guys used to be good. You guys are inept. You're boring. You put people to sleep. I'm going to start muting my TV and just playing DMX music because it'll go with how our defense is killing the offensive players when they're tackled. You guys are horrible color commentators. And the thing that's even worse is if you go to CBS, those old dudes are trash too. Like this is the first time I ever felt like, dag, I wish we had ESPN again. At least they have some entertaining commentators, right? Like Gus Johnson, what were you known for? Giving out nickname catchphrases. You're horrible at that. JT gets a strip, and then our boy Jack Sawyer runs it back in for his first touchdown in 5 years, and that's what you go with? You want to put the crowd to sleep? Like, I'm sick of your little bald head, four-eye glasses wearing face. Like, go ahead and kick rocks. Then you broke the news that you're hosting Indiana at noon before anybody else could break it properly through the proper channels. Like, nobody wants to see your faces anymore. You guys are boring. Joe Klatt, you have more life and energy in your podcast than you do on the commentating screen. So, like, what are you doing? Just retire. Like, people get burnt out. You guys need a break. Take a vacation. Take a season off next year. Don't do any more Ohio State games. Just do us all a favor.
I'd rather listen to Tom Brady announce than him. And that's sad.
All right. Melo, I love that. I'm currently uploading something. Buckeye Boyz over here. We're doing big things, right? Shout out to Tony's mom. They're getting a website together for us. On that website, you'll be able to have links to all our social media. So we are now, Tony's taking over our social media. So he's going to be posting on there every day. We're going to be on Facebook, Instagram, Apple, whatever, Apple Podcasts, whatever. I don't know what that is. I'm a Droid guy, so I don't know.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Apple Podcasts, like anything we can get on, we're going to be on.
Yeah. So because of that, we're going to try to, if Ohio State's not going to press this Will Howard for Heisman thing, this is what we putting out. You ready? Check out what Tony made.
Hold on. Let me take this off real quick.
Yeah, get that up there. Give us your thoughts in the comments. We're about to blast this all over social media, and we need y'all to help us with that, okay? When you guys see us share this on our Twitter and Instagram and all that, y'all, dude, share this thing, man. I think it's fire. I love it. Look at him on there. Will Howard for Heisman, presented by the Buckeye Boyz. Love it, dude.
Absolutely.
Love
and
it.
This is the thing. Like, Will Howard's not even in the conversation yet. His numbers are pretty much identical to Dylan Gabriel, but he has his percentage is insane. Like, and we're winning. I mean, granted, Dylan Gabriel's winning as well, but like, come on, man. He's not even on the list.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is, so his stats are identical, except for Will Howard has more yards per completion, right, and has played one less game, okay? Right. So just think about this for a second. We lost by 1 point at Autzen Stadium, an away game against the number one team in the nation, and there was some very Utah call at the end of the game. I'm going to say that because I don't know if you guys watched the Utah game or not, but there was that type of call right at the end of the game. If we would have won that 1 point game, I think Will Howard would be the leader for the Heisman, but instead he's not even in the top 8, right? But his stats show that if he plays the same amount as Gabriel, he's going to have better stats than him. So it is honestly very, very, very confusing why he's not up there. Okay, let me look for the Cujo design again. I don't have it. Tony, did you email that to me in like a thumbnail size by chance? Because here's what I got. So check it out. There, it's in the up, right up hand. What am I saying?
Right above Tony's head.
Golly, dude, this is getting wild around here.
Yeah,
right there. Boom. Sorry, it's not bigger. Maybe you can zoom in on your screen. We'll work on getting that. But check this out. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, you go to BuckeyeBoyz.com. It'll be a big graphic right on there. So our website will work like this. We're not going to have a store on there, but it'll have all the designs that you can get on the shirts, and it'll have an email that you just email us your size and color and what. Yeah, Kenneth, thanks, man. Upper right-hand corner. Boom. That's it, dude. It's, I tell you what, when you talk this much, and I talk a lot, it gets hard to just say normal things sometimes because I just get all these words in my head.
The words aren't
That's why I got Melo and Tony, man. They keep me straight in here. So here we go. Now, where are we at? What are we doing? What year is it? And who's the president? So we're moving on. Don't answer that.
Trump. Oh, no.
Oh, I know it is. It is. Well, not quite yet, right? But anyway. All right, let's get moving on to this team, right? I'm going to start off with a little rant. I'm going to start off with the fact that we the Buckeyes, baby. Look at us this year, man. Out there doing big things. I think that this season is setting up perfectly for the Buckeyes. I love what Ryan Day said that we've went through so much adversity already, right? I would rather have that Oregon loss now, go through the Nebraska adversity, because it's just making us stronger now and getting us better for the part of the season, November and the playoffs. That mean the most, right? Will Howard, the defense, Chip Kelly, I mean, all the players. I think everything's coming together. Sonny Styles is getting better. Edric Houston showing up, showing out. and they're just figuring some things out. So I'm excited, and, I'm totally on the Natty train right now. I think it's what's happening. And I can just see us, I still think we haven't even seen a full game from the Buckeyes yet. So just be prepared. I want to start off with giving you guys our red zone statistics right now. So sit back and listen to us in the red zone on both sides of the ball. So on defense, teams have been in the red zone on us 19 times. They've only been in there 19 times. Out of those 19 trips, there's been 3 touchdown passes and 3 rushing touchdowns and 5 field goals. Okay? So teams have only scored 6 touchdowns on us this season. How many games have we played?
7.
Yeah. No.
We played more than 7.
8. Sorry, 8.
Yeah, man. So that's what I'm saying. Like look at those stats. Shout out Jim Knowles. Shout out, all people on defense. Yeah. So we love the Buckeyes, okay? We support the Buckeyes, and we give our opinion on the Buckeyes a lot. We hold the Buckeyes to the highest standard that's imaginable. We hold them to an unrealistic standard most of the time. So we get on here, we talk about Justin Fry and some of the players that not playing up to their ability. That's kind of that tough love thing, man. It doesn't mean we don't support him. I want Justin Fry to succeed. I want him to become the best offensive line coach in the United States of America. That's what I want. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't, but I want it to. So that's like the lines of thinking when it comes to all this stuff. On to the offense. We've had 34 trips into the red zone. We've had 14 passing touchdowns, 16 rushing touchdowns, and 3 field goals. We are 33 for 34 in the red zone offensively, and 32 of 34 of those were freaking touchdowns, dude. So give me your guys' thoughts on our red zone performance this year. Tony, you can go first.
I think the defense has been outstanding. They've been like the definition of like, we can be kind of bend, but we will not break type of thing. And it's been impressive to see how many times they've stopped people. Like they've stopped Penn State down there. They stopped Oregon down there. Like, I'm saying? They've stopped real live people who have real, somewhat live offenses. Like Penn State should have been able to run it in, and they just couldn't. And we stopped Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we stopped Nebraska down there. Like we've had it where we just are protective of the end zone, and like it should be. And on offense, we've been the opposite, where we're not settling for field goals because we didn't know if we had a real field goal kicker, and I'm not sure we still do. But like, I think it's been impressive the amount of times we've gotten in, especially touchdown wise and stuff or whatever. And it's a testament to the defense stepping up when they need to, and the offense finishing drives. And Kyle McCord, who at this point, because like literally that was part of the problem, is we could get in the red zone last year and couldn't punch it in. And now we've shown that like sometimes even if it takes us 4 plays, we'll take all 4 of those plays and somebody's getting it. So,
yeah. Real fast, Melo, before you go, I think that's my brother Eric in the chat. I'm just going to tell him something. Bro, don't tell me what to do. I'll beat the crap out of you, bro. You know this to be true. I'm bigger than you. I'm faster than you, stronger than you. You're my bigger brother, but that's just in age. So that's all I have for him. And I love you, bro. Thanks for watching, dude.
Blood feud.
Oh, I need tickets. Y'all could fight on the undercard of the Tyson Jake Paul fight, man. I'm be right in front row with my popcorn and my beer,
Yeah.
But think about this. It's night and day from last year. Everything about this team is completely different. Tell me you guys don't feel that aura that's vibrating off of this team that is different. Coach Day, he does not sit around and wait. He tries to fix stuff immediately. His biggest fix was hiring Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly has revamped this whole team. Then we got Will Howard, man. This dude, the way he carries himself, and I know he's not a perfect quarterback, but dude, how can you not root for this kid or love this kid? Even if you're not a Buckeye fan. Look how he carries himself in the press conference. He accepts his accountability. He accepts responsibility. And then he goes ahead and flushes it. And Charlie Mike's continue mission, like we said in the Army. So at the end of the day, this team is completely different on offense. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I think we were atrocious in the red zone last year to the point they had to get packages for Devan Brown to come in, and he got hurt. And all of last year, all I was doing was rooting for Devan Brown to get on the field and stay healthy so that way he could get the other guy out of here, because I feel like Devan Brown was a better quarterback than Kyle McCord. He gave us a better chance of winning. So this year, like, I know Emily thinks like we're bashing on him. No, we're not bashing. We love that dude. We love everything that Devan Brown stands for as a human. We love his principle. Honestly, Devan Brown could easily be a Navy SEAL if he wanted on SEAL Team 6 because he has that mentality. So, like, we love him. We just feel like there's better options to win. We are in win now mode. Like, we've been starving for a championship, and that's what we want to see. We think that the future is in a different direction. But in terms of defense, our defense has been phenomenal. The best defense in America. You remember when we were back on the old How Pod, I said this was my prediction, and it still has a chance it probably won't hit. But I predicted that we would end the season as the number one offense in America and the number one total defense in America. We're definitely probably going to end in number one total defense. And if Will Howard gets his feet right, we could probably reach number one status on offense as well.
Yeah, that was a fire take, Melo. You spit a lot of truth. You spit a lot of truth right there for sure. I think we're 15th offensively, but we easily have the firepower to and when I say we've operated at 70%, I mean, I think we've seen our defense at 95%. You know what I mean? Like, they're just going to keep getting better. But I think our defense has played some full games, right? A lot closer than our offense have. It's the offense that hasn't played. So we're 15th in the country, and I would say we've seen about 70% of our potential offensively, right? So can you imagine 100? We're 15th. So, but from 15 to 1, we're talking 10 yards, I think. Like, you're not talking huge numbers here. So, yeah, man, when we reach that potential, Melo, I like that take more and more as the year goes on. But
I know what I wanted to say about Chip Kelly's press conference. So it was interesting because they asked him about us having less plays. I think we're getting like 66 plays on offense a game, which I hate that number 66, by the way. Like, let's either get one more or one less, a game. I don't like 66. But at the end of the day, he said, yes, we want to huddle it's what I got between him and Ryan Day is they want to huddle because they don't have to use signs. They don't have to worry about somebody trying to steal their signs. Like, I got that from Day because he brought up being able to use the comms and not having to use signs. Then also they said, you remember back in the beginning of the season, we kept scoring so fast. Our defense was like on the field forever and they were getting tired and we were giving up big plays a little bit to some of those crappy teams. Yeah. He's saying like this allows the defense to rest. But he's saying like at some points you want to do tempo, but also he's giving them a lot of information. He'll tell Will Howard like, hey, tell the O-line that those two guys on this play, they typically like to stunt, so be ready. Oh, and there's a new DB, and remember, this is his tendency, so tell the wide receiver to do this route in his route tree. So he's giving out more information, so that's why they're moving slower, and I think that's also affecting why we're not scoring almost 50 points a game because we're getting less snaps and less possessions.
Yeah, that's huge. I can't believe I forgot about that, but I remember what you're talking about. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've screamed for tempo all year, but then you hear Chip Kelly talk about why they're not doing tempo, and it just makes sense. It shows you why he gets paid the big bucks, and I'm just a fan, but he's a genius, man. Resting our defense like that, and like I said, the completions, that he told Will Howard. Like, I think that offense, everybody gets a little uptight about the dink and dunk offense we're running this year. Well, there's a lot more to that than meets the eye. Yeah, it's not the funnest thing to watch, but it tires their defense and gives our defense a break. And I think that's a big deal. And yeah, the communication thing you just said, that I didn't think about all that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize like that the quarterback wouldn't know a new corner came in, but I guess he wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be able to process all that stuff. And it's nice to have somebody in your ear like Chip who has the experience and the knowledge to go through those things. So that was huge. Yeah, I forgot he said that, Melo. Thanks for bringing that up. Tony, thoughts on that?
No, I think you guys covered it. I had a brain fart, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you ain't got to. If I ask you got thoughts, you ain't got to have one. You know what I'm saying? This is a nice question. Tony, you can answer this one, and then we'll go Melo, and then I will answer it. Who we get in the Natty? If we make it to the Natty, who you guys think we playing?
Man, that's a tough call, man. Man, I don't know. Like it's so hard to tell this year in college football. Like You know what I'm saying? Like every time I think like a team is like going to take that next step, like they get eliminated the next week from maybe even playing in the playoffs. So that's one of those things I'd have to answer. I think once the playoff thing came out, I'd feel more comfortable because like it's guessing now. Like I could say a team and you'd be like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to make it. And like in 2 weeks, you'll be like, nope, they suck. They're horrible. Like,
yeah, we don't know how the bracket's going to line up, the seeding and all that, but just your guess. Then pick the second best team in college football right now. Who do you think's who you think's good enough to get there to play us?
I mean, to be fair, we might end up with a third Oregon game at that point.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad take. You know what I'm saying? Well, it'd be interesting to see where they seed everybody. That's the thing we don't know, but if you had to guess. Melo, what about you?
So this takes me back to my preseason predictions on the Ohio Pod. And
are you looking at notes?
Man, I still got the printouts from when we did it.
God,
so prepared.
I'm looking for what you said, and I want to see what you're going to say now. You know,
I'm
trying to compare and contrast.
Dude, I know I said Georgia. I ain't saying Georgia. I know I said Georgia.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you who I believe it is. It hasn't changed for me. I think
my brother came in with a crazy take. No, Eric.
And I also think that they match up with us the best. They're more of our mirror. And I think it's going to be Ole Miss.
Damn, you took mine.
You could say the same thing, bro.
Yeah,
that's what you
I was going to.
I did think about that.
I thought this was obvious, but I guess I'll say it. I was obviously joking with my brother earlier, just to let everybody know real fast. It was a joke. We're brothers. We're 3 brothers growing up, so we've all beat the fire out of each other. I promise you. But yeah, Melo, I think Ole Miss is scary, right? And another team that I think I heard on Minutes today, them talking about this, and I just share the same sentiment that you can't really sleep on Bama. It depends what Bama team you get. You know what I'm saying? Is their quarterback going to come out playing good or is he not? But I think Ole Miss and Bama could surprise us up in there. I don't think Penn State, Miami sucks. I hope they don't make it. Notre Dame, no, but yeah, Ole Miss is my pick as well. All right, so let's dive in. We're going to have a little bit of a long show tonight, but that's okay. Let's dive into the team specifically. I got 2 questions I want to bring up, and then we could talk about anything else you guys want to, and we'll dive into our thoughts on the Northwestern game just a little bit, but we'll really hit on that tomorrow. My first question I have is I wonder why they started Edric Houston over K-Mac in the Purdue game, right? My answer to my own question would be kind of along the lines of keeping Edric happy because they know the value that he brings to this team, and they know the transfer portal's there and all that stuff, and they knew it was Purdue, and we're not going to need our best player in there per se. So that's kind of my take. But I would just love to know the conversations that went on behind closed door, like 2K Mac, because I wonder what type of dude he is, how he took that news or whatnot. But what's y'all's takes on that?
Go ahead, Tony.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I can see how that is. And like, it's hard to tell what they think anymore, like, or what they could tell these kids. Like, I mean, I hope they're doing the right things to tell them, like, and keep everybody kind of like not placate them, but they keep everybody satisfied and happy so that we can stay the course going forward. Because like you don't want to like all of a sudden have all these kids transfer because like you do something like start Edric Houston in that point. But like you said, like it would be great to hear. Like I would pay money to hear some of those conversations. It's just the logic that gets thrown around with some of these decisions. Like literally, I think it's hard to tell, man. Like because I think all of the second string could essentially make a case to be like, why Edric Houston and not me? This and that and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, I don't know if maybe it's just because like it was lesser competition. You know, Edric Houston moved in. You know, whatever. Like, it's hard to tell. But like, I mean, I think as long as they keep rotating, I think keep everybody happy. It's not that crazy of a decision. So,
Melo.
Like I just put in the chat with the fire alarms right there. Dev hit a grand slam on that one. I'm about to start calling you Aaron Judge or Juan Soto. Exactly what you said. I have nothing else to add. That's my whole comment. That's my statement.
Yeah. Cool. By the way, I made a misstatement on our Sunday show. Mylan Graham did play 2 snaps in
Did
that
he?
game. He did.
Oh, I'm about to go find that.
Yeah,
I know, bro.
those two
I got to
snaps.
see it too. At
Need
least
those.
on the PFF grade snap count, he got 2 snaps. Is what it said.
Was it
So
special teams though?
I don't
or was
know.
it regular game?
I don't know. I just saw that he had 2 snaps. I was like, dang, bro. I wish I would have known that. Because
And now that you're saying that, I gotta apologize because you remember we did that interview with Maxwell, right? And I said that Orlando Pace was the only offensive lineman to ever go to the Heisman ceremony. I was wrong. I was corrected today. And actually, it was another Ohio State Buckeye back in 1951 named John Hicks, and he finished second in the voting. So I want to apologize to everybody for putting out that misinformation. But in my mind, Orlando Pace is that dude, and he's the GOAT in terms of offensive linemen. So that would never change for me. I know Trent Williams is on his heels, but it's Orlando Pace for me. I'm sorry.
Not good. No.
Yeah, that's still cool, dude. 2 Buckeye offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, man, they need to put that up somewhere. I'm sure they got
know
how
big Hicks was? 6'2", 251 pounds. He would have been a linebacker.
Golly, dude.
And Woody Hayes said he's the best offensive lineman he's ever coached in his life. Shout out to Stilly Matt for dropping that knowledge on me.
Wow.
You know, my grandpa holding it down.
Yeah. I forgot to say something. I want to say this just to get it on record. It was about Trey and his route that he ran that was against a linebacker. I fully expect to see that way more because Trey against any linebacker in college football is a very, very, very unfair match. And I think that needs to get utilized more. And I think it will in bigger games when it's time to use. I think that's going to become a very big weapon for us. But I wanted to kind of put that out there. Last thing I have is I kind of want to dive into and talk a little bit deeper about the 3-down lineman look that we saw. And I want to get your guys' thoughts. We've already hit the thought that that's just some film that, you know, these other teams have to prepare for. I think, you know, that's a thing, kind of like Chip Kelly calling all these different offensive plays on Purdue. It just makes, you know, the reps that they rep in practice, they got to rep for all of them. So number one, your guys' thoughts. You guys think we're going to see it more, and is it going to be useful to us maybe in the future? And do we see it in the Northwestern game?
I mean, we used it, and I think maybe it might just be a thing like letting Jim Knowles do that, seeing how it goes, whatever, putting something on tape. I mean, I don't think it was that great. I don't think it was all it was cracked up to be. The whole like, oh my God, there's the mythical jack position. Like, all right, yay! Like we saw it. Who cares? Anyway, like it wasn't that good. That's when Gus Gonson called us Swiss cheese when we were running that. So, not that was like a great comment, but you know what I'm saying. Either way,
yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I think we're doing just fine with the defensive adjustments we made. I think maybe you throw that in there just because Ryan Day mentioned like we need to try to confuse them and not make it just so they know exactly who's coming when they're coming. You know, so that might just be a confusion part of it, or just switch it up and give us a way to break it up. So I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't hope we see a whole bunch of it, but because I think what we're doing otherwise is working. So.
Melo.
This is a very intriguing question and an intriguing thought.
Bro, you in the chat lighting people up. Look at you. I'll stick Gramps on
I know, that's why I was like so slow to respond.
Look, yeah. Melo's on the show and they just light people up in the chat. Are you messaging from your YouTube and from Buckeye Boyz? Because I saw Buckeye Boyz in there too earlier.
Yeah.
I love it, bro.
Double accountant.
Yeah.
So like my thing is it's an intriguing prospect because I can see why they want to do it. It's a nice little change-up pitch. Like if you're a pitcher, you have like now we will have like 5 different pitches. We have a fastball, curveball, a slider, a sinker, and now a change-up, you know. So I could see why they wouldn't do it. The only problem is you could tell they didn't practice it. You know what I mean? They were not efficient at all. They missed so many tackles, but it did generate a lot of pressure on the QB. They just missed the tackles. And I think if they practice it, I think you run both systems because, yes, we are a 4-down lineman team, but we have the athletes that we could switch it up. And imagine being an OC for another team and having to prepare for a 3-down lineman front and as well as a 4-down lineman front. and the different blitz packages you could run off of it. My thing is, I wish they would have had the forethought of this from the beginning and just worked on both. Now, I think we will see it again in the Northwestern, and if it looks promising again or it looks cleaned up, I think that's a change-up pitch that they're gonna be like, Dan Lanning, Leopold, go ahead, figure this out, see what we doing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. I'm not opposed to it, as well as if it looks good and it's a change-up and you can do both and it's gonna help the rotation. We're gonna see more players on the field that we've all wanted to see. Who's to say we don't flip Justin Hill, baby, and keep him?
Yeah, I know. So I got a few thoughts on this. Obviously, that's why I brought it up. Okay, so I want to start off with a lot of people just throw it to the wayside because of how many yards that were given up. Okay, so I just want to mention real fast that Melo said it. There were a lot of missed tackles. There were more missed assignments. Okay, and another thing is, I don't know if you noticed who we had in during that, but it was all like second string defenders. Okay, so a lot of the times players were in the right positions. No, and Melo said it too. It's not like we've been practicing the bunch. It's just something new. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. I think there's a bunch of potential there. I think it can be utilized in certain situations to really throw the offense off. So, you know, I try to separate the fact that we gave up a bunch of yards. I get that, but you know, I don't want to. I like it. I don't want to just throw it out because of that. I think there's potential. I think they did that to kind of get a feel of, you know, what it looks like in game, and now they got a feel for it. They got some film to watch and grow from, and maybe put some different players in there and see kind of how they handle it. You know, put Sonny at the jack and see what happens there. You know what I'm saying? So I just found it interesting, and it would not surprise me at all if we see it more in the Northwestern game. And then maybe it gets brought up in different things. But, you know, I didn't get too excited watching it, obviously, but I just wanted to have people keep that in mind, right? A bunch of second string people, first time ever doing it, not a lot of practice, a lot of missed tackles, and a lot of people just not doing their assignments in that defense. So I found that something interesting. But we can move on to the Northwestern game real fast. And I pulled up a picture of the stadium. I'm about to put it on here because I want your guys' thoughts on where these boys are about to be playing. So here we go. Check that out. Let me get this comment off here so we can all see it real close. That's the setup. So let's take a gander, okay? Both the
I'm
end
sorry,
zones.
I didn't mean to curse, bro. Like, but no, look at the back right corner, bro. Nah, JJ, do not send Optimus Prime over there. We're running when we get that towards that way, man. I don't care.
Sketchy.
Oh shoot!
I
know,
heard the
dude.
walls were close, but that's close.
When I saw this, I was like, wow. And you heard Ryan Day in his press conference. I'm sure he saw it too. They were going to go on Saturday, but he probably saw the picture and decided we better go on Friday so the guys could walk around and see how much room they actually have. But yeah, Blitz, that's my number one concern after watching this. I do not want a player to get hurt. You know, we better not have any injuries. I feel you. And I think they laid sod over an area there. So I'm questioning the integrity of this field. And if you think back the other Northwestern game with all the wind, wonder if Northwestern's trying to pull some crap here and make us play on a dinky dunk field with sod that's loose and something just to have a chance to try to beat us. Because, I mean, they don't stand a chance in HE Triple L and even this game being close on a real football field. So it's got me a little nervous. Not nervous for a loss, nervous for injuries, because look how close everything is, man. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
I gotta be honest with you, and I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I didn't see the pitch. They showed a picture earlier today, but it was not from that angle.
It's the other end.
With this, there's no way I'm playing my starters because we're going to beat Northwestern anyway. There's no way. This season's too important. I'm not playing my starters. I can't. Like, look at the. Is that right field? I think that's right field. Look at the corner.
Yeah.
Like, no way, bro. Like, this is ridiculous. This is embarrassing. They should have just signed some paperwork to make it a home game for us, and they could have ran it back 2 years in a row.
I have a question. I knew Northwestern was bad, but when did they join the Arena Football League?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And you're right. They did put down side in the infield.
So they have to cover the infield, yeah.
But there's no way that side already took. There's no way. There's no way I'm playing my starters. I'm sorry. I can't do it. There's no way. I'll be too nervous.
I don't even want to play my backups at that point. We're playing third string.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we could beat them with the third string, though.
I mean, it's Northwestern. Come on.
They're still scholarship.
I know.
That's a brick wall back there that it looked like they put those. I don't know. When I played basketball, there was like brick walls right behind the basketball hoop that they would throw some gym mats up on before the game. I'm telling you, I ran into them a couple times. Those mats don't do much.
They hurt, bro.
Definitely when they're up against brick. So I wanted to show you all that and get y'all's opinions.
Well, that's
dude, I'm actually nervous, right? I wish you wouldn't have showed me that. Now I'll be worried about that for the rest of the week.
Do. Yeah.
Anxiety's right here now.
Yeah, it's the real deal. But that's pretty much all I wanted to hit on the Northwestern game. Tomorrow, 8:15. We'll dive in a little deeper. I'll have all my stats I normally do about where we line up statistically with them and whatnot. We'll give our game predictions and all that 9 yards. But Tony, you got any closing statements for tonight's show? We went for an hour and 21 minutes so far, dude. We going ham tonight.
That's awesome. No, listen, I did email Devan just a minute ago a smaller version of the Cujo shirt if he wants to pull that up because now everybody was clamoring about it. But otherwise,
you guys talk and I'll try to pull it up.
Yeah. Otherwise, I have other than the anxiety Devan just caused with that picture, no concerns about the Northwestern game other than it's in a box. So,
Tony, I do not have an email.
Oh, come on. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, Tony, you can email.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought the show was pretty good. I love the interaction in the chat. Emily, I'm sorry no one was trying to offend you. People could have different perspectives and still be friends and still love the team. Chat, you guys are awesome. I had so much fun and such a blast interacting with you. And in terms of the Northwestern game, I am legitimately concerned, bro. I didn't see it from that angle. So I think when they're going towards that little death corner, that's what I'm gonna call it. You either sub somebody else in, or we running the ball or going the opposite way. It's just not worth it. I'd rather the game. If you're going towards that direction for Ohio State, Jay Fielding's gonna find out if he could really kick. Because all we have to do is win the game, even if it's by 1. It doesn't really matter because we need to beat Indiana and we need to beat the team up north, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So we still will beat this team, even if we're kind of playing the low ball type of game and shaving points towards that end just to protect our players because we have to. What happens if Northwestern gets all angry and their players try to play dirty and run JJ into that wall? Because it isn't that far. You could run him into that wall. I mean, he's a big dude. You're going to have a tough time doing it. But, I mean, it's possible. You know what I mean? So, that's what I'm worried about. And we already know what they do in the shower. So, can you imagine what they're going to do in that deaf corner right there? The coffin corner? There's no way. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, look what they did. They put an opening right in the corner so they could just run through that. Good looking,
but I'm talking about if you're going on the sideline. You remember how
joking, bro. I know, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm just making sure.
I was being a smart butt, bro.
I know. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just I'm really legit concerned. I wish you never showed me that picture.
I'm sorry, man, but I had the same concerns when I saw it. You know what I mean? But yeah. Tony, any final thoughts? We'll show the Cujo shirt tomorrow. We'll work on getting that email. It's not going through. We'll get it tomorrow.
I don't know why, but okay. No, I just I'm ready to see him just keep playing another complete game. Offensive line, you looking good. No injuries. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then we have a weird game with Northwestern. I just want to not see that and show up and do better than the Cubs usually do.
Yeah. Hey, I was thinking about a name for our people in the chat, by the way, and I just keep coming up with like the boys, right, with the Z. But I don't want to offend any women in the chat at all.
Right.
But you know, we're the Buckeye Boys, right? So let's come up with a cool name for our chat, for people in the chat. You know, you got the Juckeyes and the Scoop fam, stuff like that. So we got
chat, help us out, man. Y'all get
Yeah.
together and come up with a cool name, bro. Like
the Buck
I've been
Boys.
thinking about it for a while too, and normally I'm pretty good at stuff like this, but it's
Yeah.
been kind of difficult.
I call them oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, what's up?
I said I call them the BBZ Mafia family. That's what I call them.
the Boys Mafia. Yeah,
Yep.
there we go. But yeah, so fam, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, comment below. We'll interact with you in the comments. I'm always in there messaging people back when they comment on there. Like or share us on your Twitter feed, Instagram, all that stuff. Look out for us on social media. Tony's taking that over and going to start to be more interactive on there. Check out our website next couple days, buckeyeboyz.com with 1Z, just Buckeye Boys. You'll be able to see everything on there. Don't forget about our November 29th show, our 6-hour stream from 6 p.m. to midnight. We got some big hitters coming on. We got Juck. We got Funky. We got Nevada. We got Kirk. We got B. Moses. We got pretty much all the Ohio Pod gang coming on. We got a couple of rival shows. Yeah, a couple of the rival shows coming on. Several fans coming on here. We're down to 15-minute sections for fans to come on. So if you want to come on, you can still come on. You have about a 15-minute interval. I will be very strict in the timeline. If your time's from 8 to 8:15 and you're 5 minutes late, we just got to hold you to 10 minutes. But at that 15 mark, got to shut her down. It's going to be very crazy trying to keep all that stuff organized and stuff. But we appreciate your support, chat. We love y'all. We appreciate you. Check out our interview we just did with Maxwell Hiller, 5-star 2027 offensive tackle out of Pennsylvania. Kid is awesome. He's coming back on our show again. So look out for that. If you haven't seen it, check it out after this. It's awesome. Don't forget to check out Ohio Pod over there. They're awesome. Scoop, Juck, all those awesome shows, man. We appreciate you. We love you. That's mine, Donald. I apologize for that. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm just messing with you. On that note, go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.
Ayo.